Dear racing fans, we've been waiting for you. We've been working, prepping, training, putting together thrilling races, high stakes, favorite traditions, and fresh experiences. From right on the rail to the top of the hill. Whether it's your first meet or your 50th, we can't wait to welcome you back this fall. Love, Keeneland.
And welcome in, everyone, to the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. Jeremy Plonk here from Horse Player Now. Great to be with you. Day 15 of 17 on tap for Thursday as we look ahead to a 9-race program that has not one, but 2 carryovers for us to chase. And we've got a Pick 6 carryover as well as a Super High 5. Pick 6 not hit today, thanks in large part to a 26-1 winner along the way, Coco Connect. No one connected on the Pick 6. 88,864. The carryover, now a 2-day carryover in the Pick 6. That will begin on races 4 through 9. As for the Super High 5, nobody took down a Toyota Super High 5. The finale, Steve Asmussen with the winner in the nightcap. Nobody could connect the 5 in order. $42,810, the carryover in the Toyota Super High 5. That will be offered again on race number 9 on the program. What a day here at Keeneland today. Again, Steve Asmussen with 2 winners. He's up to 9 now for the meet, tied with Brendan Walsh atop the standings. Asmussen had 5 last week in a week where 40 different trainers won the 46 races. He was the only one who got hot last week. He won 5 times. Nobody else won more than 2. Now he starts off week number 4 of the meet with a 2-win day today. So Asmussen certainly going great guns right now. He's got 9 wins, as I said, for the meet. Brendan Walsh tied with him for 7. It was Walsh and Brad Cox who tied for the spring meet training title here this year in 2025. Brad Cox sitting in 3rd right now with 7. Todd Pletcher, Wesley Ward with 6 winners. The surprising trainer number of the meet, Chad Brown, 0 for 15. He's got some chances over the next couple days. He's not going to take the duck for the meet. I feel pretty confident about that, but 0 for 15 with a lot, and I mean a lot, of second place finishes. As for the jockeys, Irad Ortiz up to 19 wins on the meet. He is 5 ahead now in the leading rider standings with 3 cards left here on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Irad's looking pretty good. He doesn't have that X in the standings next to his name for clinching the title yet, but he's getting awfully close with a 5-win lead. Luis Saez 14, 12 for Jose Ortiz and Tyler Gaffleone, and 11 wins for Johnny Velasquez on limited mounts. Good argument could be made that the rider of the meet has been John Velasquez, and you had the stakes in there with it, and Velasquez has had just a sensational go. Look, we had our worst day of handicapping of the meet on Sunday. We owned up to it on last night's podcast, and we hope to do better. Good day today, one of our better days. 4 wins on top in the 8 races, $35 in mutuals. Had a nice 6-1 winner in there along the way. So we got one of our key plays of the day in. It was 12-1 in the morning line, bet down to 5-2. What are you going to do in this day and age? But we got, we got the winner in that one. Not the kind of price we were looking for, though, in today's 4th race. More bombs. We talked about the long shot winners, 10-1 or more, that were prevalent last week. Started out yesterday with a couple big numbers. Today, only 1 double-digit winner in terms of odds prices, double digits. But that was at 26-1, Coco Connect. Edgar Morales with the winning ride on that one. He's really quietly had a good meet. You're not going to look at the stats and be overwhelmed with what Edgar Morales has done. When you think about the races that he's won, a couple prices that he's popped with, the fact that he's not riding any A-list horses whatsoever, he's actually had a very, very productive meet. So salute to Edgar Morales there. Brian Lynch was 0 for 17 at the meet until the feature race today. They bet him even money anyway, and his runner just absolutely aired. Her name was Sister Troyen. Public was absolutely right on this one and just smoked her at the windows, and she ran off with the race 7 allowance race and looked pretty good doing it. So that's a wrap for what we saw on the track today at Keeneland. The big news around the country before we get into this Thursday card and talk about it, the big news around the country today was the entries for the Breeders' Cup, the pre-entries announced today. A lot of Keeneland influence and flavor in those pre-entries. Couple names just to kind of go down through the way. If you look at the Friday races, the Future Stars Friday, the 2-year-olds. We've got Ted Naffy from Keeneland. Maybe Keeneland's best chance at a Breeders' Cup winner. He's going to be a favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He and Brandt for Bob Baffert. But Ted Naffy should be favored in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Juvenile fillies, we've got Tommy Joe and Percy's Bar. Remember, they were adjudicated in the placing in the Alcibiades Stakes on opening day here at the meet. They're both pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. Juvenile Turf Sprints got the interesting Schwarzenegger. How good did he look when he won here? I believe the Indian Summer Stakes it was, the 2-year-old Turf Sprint. Really impressive for Wesley Ward. We'll see him against some international stars in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. As for the Saturday races, Filly and Mare Sprint, the top 3 from the Thoroughbred Club of America, all back in a rematch of sorts with Praying, Vava, and Zeitlos all coming back. Of course, Praying, that 3-year-old filly who beat the Elders in the TCA. They'll both, all 3 will go in the Filly and Mare Sprint. A Phoenix winner that we had, Nakatomi, coming back for the sprint. So we'll see that Wesley Ward trainee try to get over the top. 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple years back. Distaff pre-entries include the 1-2 finishers from the Spinster Stakes earlier this meet. Nitrogen, the 3-year-old runner-up, and Jin Jin, the elder horse, who upset the field in that one for Brendan Walsh. As for the Breeders' Cup Classic, not a lot of direct links from the Keeneland Fall meet. Our big race for the older horses is still to come, the Fayette on Saturday. Not a Breeders' Cup prep, but you look at the Breeders' Cup Classic field, the pre-entries include last year, 2024, the winner of the Bluegrass Stakes, Sierra Leone, the big 3-year-old coming through here last year. Sierra Leone won the Breeders' Cup then last year as a 3-year-old. He's back to defend the title in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Also in there is Locked, winner of the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity, back during his 2-year-old season. So a couple Keeneland Grade 1 winners in the Breeders' Cup Classic. As for the mile, Rhetorical and 3 of the top 4 in the Keeneland Turf Mile are all back. We'll see what Rhetorical does there for Will Walden to get to the international set. And in the Dirt Mile, we've got Mystic Dan in there. Of course, last year's Kentucky Derby winner. I mentioned Mystic Dan in this Keeneland segment because it was October of 2023, 2 years ago, that a debut runner named Mystic Dan unveiled right here at Keeneland during the fall meet, going on to win the Kentucky Derby, and he'll be one of the players in a Dirt Mile. It's probably the best edition of the Dirt Mile I've seen in following every Breeders' Cup back to 84. Of course, the Dirt Mile didn't come along until around the 2010s in that area, but really, I think 2007, I think, was the first Dirt Mile at Monmouth. That sounds about right. But the Dirt Mile isn't one of those races that stretches all the way back to 84. But even if you go back to 2007, I don't think there's been a Dirt Mile anywhere close to the one we're going to see this year. We'll talk more Breeders' Cup in the future, I'm sure. And certainly, if you want more information about the Breeders' Cup, I'll pop it right now. Be sure to sign up for my Substack, jeremyplonk.substack.com. I give handicapping information from not only Keeneland each and every race day of the meet, but tracks around the country, Breeders' Cup, Triple Crown season, all that. So sign up for the free Substack. It's a publishing software. We'll send it right to your email inbox with a daily newsletter of sorts here during Keeneland, and then we'll update you with more information about Breeders' Cup and more. jeremyplonk.substack.com. All right, let's get cracking on this Thursday card. Day 15 coming up here. Keeneland Turf Pick 3 is back in the mix for Thursday. We've got races 5, 7, and 9 as part of that Keeneland Turf Pick 3. Let's look at the snapshot of the card and see how those races line up for you. Again, Keeneland Turf Pick 3 and 5, 7, and 9. We've got the Pick 6 beginning in race number 4 with that big carryover of 88,000. The Toyota Super High 5, final race on the card, 42,000, the carryover there. My key plays happen to fall in succession. I think it's the first time I'll meet this has happened. Race 4, 5, and 6 are all my key plays on the card. You can see me already. The wheels churning. Pick 3, rolling daily doubles, multi-race wagers that run in and out of those races. Feel good about this card handicapping the Thursday program, and really like the Friday card as well. So looking forward to not only Thursday, but Friday, and especially after a nice day today with a 4-win day. So let's see what kind of hay we can make on this Friday card, starting off our Thursday card. Boy, I can't get my days of the week straight. The Thursday card at Keeneland, you can get these picks at the Handicappers Consensus area at Keeneland.com. You've got Scott Hazelton, Tom Leach, Kim Nelson, and myself with our full card picks. We'll start things off in race number 1, non-winners of 2 lifetime here. Claimers going 1 mile and an eighth. We don't get many of these 9-furlong non-winners of 2 races on the dirt. In fact, there's only been 9 of them since Keeneland went back to dirt in 2014 in a fall meet. So a bit of an anomaly, if you will, in distance, and maybe a little bit of a crapshoot because of the 9 furlong distance. If you look at the public handicappers, that would certainly lend to that opinion, because number 2, Farm Team, number 7, Sprint Out Pass, number 8, Putting Eagle, and number 9, Cloudy Holiday are all top choices. 4 handicappers, 4 different top choices, different horses in the second slots in a lot of cases. So this is a wide open bunch in here. I really don't like the pick in this race, but I think it's the right value in Cloudy Holiday. This is a horse for Kelly Martinez, who's already had a couple wins out of the meet at Prairie Meadows. If you've learned anything about Prairie Meadows, listen to this podcast over the last couple weeks, it's that it's a very speed favoring racetrack historically. So anytime you have a horse who comes from off the pace, they're kind of compromised running at Prairie Meadows. You look at the form, a little bit of closing form in here for Putting Eagle and or for Cloudy Holiday in past races at Prairie Meadows. Maybe a more fair racetrack. I thought speed might play a little bit better today, Keeneland. It did not. So I'm anticipating if you want to come from off the pace, you can certainly come and do it. And at 9 furlongs here, Cloudy Holiday going to be my top choice. Edgar Morales aboard. He's ridden some nice prices throughout the course of the meet. 20-1 in the morning line on Cloudy Holiday. Would I bet Cloudy Holiday at 7-2? Probably not. But at 10-1, double-digit odds in a race where I really don't trust anybody over the 9 furlongs, I think it's the right value play. So if you're looking at multi-race wager bets in here, I think you want to get some coverage. I've got 9, 8, 7, 2, and 1 all listed as potential players. So that's 5 of the 9 that if you're playing a multi-race bet, I think you might want to take a look at. And I think there are a couple of horses coming up here that are going to be rather on the short side in terms of prices and races that you don't need to go that deep on. In terms of the pick 4 and pick 5. So I think this is a race to definitely get some coverage on. 9, 8, 7, 2, 1, all top choices amongst the waves. You look across the way, 9, 8, 7, 2. And then I say throw the 1 in there as well. No takebacks. No takebacks has only run once in over 2.5 years. And that was a romping win and a fast speed figure, fast time for that race at Belterra. Have no idea what they beat in a maiden claimer as a 5-year-old at Belterra. But this is a $235,000 son of Uncle Mo, who obviously went off the rails health-wise after 2023 debuting at Fairgrounds. Came back for Jose Arantes, a barn I'm not familiar with, based out of Belterra there in Ohio. We'll see. No takebacks, certainly, though. If he runs back to that speed figure, runs back to that race, and runs back to the $235,000 price tag, certainly could be a winner in this spot. But again, I really don't have a big opinion at all in this race. If we get a big number on Cloudy Holiday, worth the shot. Otherwise, try to get through this race in the multi-race wagers by employing a spread ticket. Let's go to race number 2 next on the card. Early pick 4 is going to start in this race. Race number 2 is a 7 furlong 2-year-old race, a maiden special weight. These races have typically been pretty formful and chalky, but we had a big bomber in there today. Leading Change, the 6, I think is going to be a solid favorite here at 8-5. This is a first-time starter. Leading Change is a horse who picked on top of myself, Scott, and Kim. Second choice for Tom. Tom's going to go with the 9 in here. Abatia for Chris Davis, a first-time starter. But as for the likely favorite in here, Leading Change, this is a half to She Dares the Devil, who was also a debut winner. She Dares the Devil went on, I believe, over $1 million in earnings. Definitely major graded stakes runner, grade 1 winner, grade 2 type. And this is an $800,000 son of gun runner. Again, a half to She Dares the Devil, the 6 Leading Change. Brad Cox, Irad Ortiz teaming up here. Brad Cox, as we told you yesterday, as far as week 4s go here at Keeneland, closing week of the meet, he's by far had the most wins over the last 4 years. He's won 19 races the last 4 years total, almost 5 a week in the last, or over 5, almost 5 a week. Yeah. In the last 4 years on closing week, he piles up the wins. The vast majority of those have been in maiden races. A lot of those with first-time starters. So Brad saves a lot of horses for the end of the Keeneland meet, rolls up a big number here. I wouldn't be surprised if Leading Change is part of that. This is kind of a short price horse here and probably the right way to go. I've got it 6, 8, 5, and 1. The 8, the second choice in here, Forever Rocket. This is another really nice pedigree. 2-year-old Into Mischief colt out of Rocket 21. That makes him a full brother to the filly Frank's Rocket, who was really fast. Bill Mott trained Frank's Rocket for Flank Fetcher Racing. His son Riley trains this one. The younger half brother, or full brother, I should say, Forever Rocket, could be ready to go right out of the box, because when you look back at Frank's Rocket, a debut winner, and of course went on to win the Frazette, the Spinaway, some big races across the way, Adirondack, as well as a 2-year-old. So Forever Rocket, bred to be a good 2-year-old. Riley Mott should probably have the 8 ready to go in here, and big price in the morning line. Maximum Effort, the 5, is for Steve Asmussen, who's gone, haywire here in the last couple of days, successfully haywire. This is a $600,000 son of Maxfield. The young Maxfields are all running pretty well. Steve's not necessarily the 7 furlong debut maiden specials here in fall meets. Hasn't necessarily been his forte, but the way he's going right now, you can't eliminate the Asmussens. So 6-8-5 amongst horses who have run the One Time for Music. Another Steve Asmussen trainee here. The horse showed a little bit last time before backing out of it. 2 starts back, a little bit more speed in that one. Don't really trust, I think the first-time starters have the run of this race. The horses who have run don't have a lot of trust for. So 6-8-5, I think you singled the 6 in here. Perhaps maybe go too deep with the 6 and the 8. If you want to throw the Asmussen first-timer in there, I wouldn't go any deeper than 3, though. 6, 8, and 5, the way I've got it lined up. Batia, maybe long shot play of the day for Tom Leach. Be sure to check that out. Tom hit his long shot play of the day today. I think the horse got bet down to 5-1, but it was a big number in the morning line. So maybe check in tomorrow on the Today at Keeneland show, as Keeneland opens up their program each day at 11:30 on the simulcast feed. Maybe Tom's long shot play of the day will be Batia. You'll find out the reasoning why. But race number 2 there, I'm going to think the Brad Cox horse graduates. If not, the 8 or the 5 seem like logical first-time starters, maybe to slip into that role. Let's go to race number 3 next up on this 9-race card, where the race before the pick 6 gets underway. Curious race in here at Keeneland, because it is a turf sprint, but this allowance race that has almost open conditions. There's a lot of ways to be eligible for this particular race. Only has a field of 6. We get very few turf sprints with this small of a field size. But what does happen in turf sprints? The smaller the field size, the more emphasis on early speed. Believe it or not, horses from off the pace do really well in turf sprints at Keeneland in the large field sizes. That's because the races are really competitive in terms of the front end, and trip becomes so important. Good horses might get caught up in something, and, a horse comes plugging along and goes by everybody once they get rolling in the clear. But in the shorter field turf sprints, we tend to see the chalk do pretty well and speed get emphasized. Horses much closer to the front of the pack do well in these short field turf sprints than in the big field turf sprints. So with a field of 6 in here, the best horse probably wins, and the horse who can kind of get up into the mix probably wins. And that's the way you're kind of handicapping this race. The best horse in the race probably is going to be number 6, Ujda. Ujda is a Will Walden trainee. Irad Ortiz riding, coming out of a couple stakes races, one at Woodbine and Stakes Company. This was a Group 3 winner in France. The race at Woodbine was able to stay within 2 lengths of the lead in 44 and change. That's the kind of trip you're going to need in this particular spot. Got a little further behind last time out at Kentucky Downs, but that was against AG Bullet and Simply in Front. The runner-up came back and won already. The winner that day, AG Bullet's going to be one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Ran second or third last year in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and will be back for that effort. So Ujda really, I think, has a class edge here. It's about staying close enough, because the speed in this race probably comes from the 3 Twirling Queen. I don't know what the 4 You Almost Had Me is going to show on the turf in terms of pace, but on the dirt certainly shows speed. But if the horse doesn't like the footing, she's not going to go to the front. I'm not sure what you get out of her pace-wise. Twirl Around should show a little bit of speed running fresh. I would think that the 3 and 5 are going to be on top, but the 2 Ujda, you want to be about 2 lengths off here. You don't want to be too far, especially when you get to the top of the lane. But I think Ujda gets this done, picked on top by 3 of the 4 handicappers, second in the other. Twirling Queen, the top pick in here for Kim. I've got it 6, 5, and 3. Again, the 2 speed horses, the 5 and the 3, I think are the ones you definitely hold on the second in here, and the way if you're looking at it exacta. The 5 Twirl Around, a much better price than the 3 Twirling Queen. That gives me some value and thought. Over the racetrack, Twirl Around has already run at Keeneland and ran a good second. Twirling Queen has not run at Keeneland yet. So amongst these 2 runners by Twirling Candy, I'll give the edge to the 5 Twirl Around. Better price, and has already run over the track. They're both going to be up near the front here. 6-5 exacta, probably race number 3 the way to go. And I would just go ahead and single Ujda in this particular spot if you're looking at the early pick 4 and pick 5. We're going to switch gears here now and go to race number 4. Race number 4, important race on the program here for sure. We've got some horses that we like here coming up in succession from a key race standpoint, and the carryover to the pick 6 begins here in race number 4. Again, 88,000 plus in the pick 6 carryover, and that's going to get us going here in race number 4. 4 through 9 on the card, the pick 6 races. My key plays go races 4, 5, and 6. So let's talk about the first of those 3 key plays in a row. It's going to be number 9, Bermuda Blitz. Bermuda Blitz is 6-1 in the morning line. Outside post, I'm not wild about it, a mile and a 16th, but nobody has a better percentage riding mile and a 16th here at Keeneland than Tyler Gaffalione. You got the top jock. You got a Vekoma pedigree where the Vekomas run really well over this racetrack. I'm expecting this horse off the claim, now protected first time for Anthony Quartarolo. I think this horse is going to be well spotted in here. For him to get Gaffalione to ride, I think is a good get in here for a barn that doesn't necessarily have the profile to get one of the top 3 or 4 jocks. This is a horse who off the claim goes for a barn that's won with 2 of their last 4 off the claim at a big number. So Bermuda Blitz, bred to like the track, gets Gaffalione over this distance in which he excels. A trainer who does really well off the claim with limited strikes. I like the 9 in here. Bermuda Blitz, give me that one on top. Papa Yo, the 3 is picked on top by Tom and Scott. Kim is going with number 6 in here, Sweet Talking Bourbon. So at 6-1 in the morning line on the 9 Bermuda Blitz, nobody else uses the horse in their top 3. That gives me some confidence that we could hold this kind of price. So on a key play at 6-1 in the morning line, let's hope we can get that. This horse has run good 2-turn races at Oaklawn in the dirt back away. So I think getting back to 2 turns here off the 7.5, the 1-turn race at Churchill, a couple elbow starts there at Ellis Park, traditional 2-turn race. Give me the 9 Bermuda Blitz, one of my key plays of the day here in race number 9. Underneath the 9, I'm going to use the 5, the 6, and the 3 as the key players in here. Papa Yo, the 3, the 6, Sweet Talking Bourbon, horses picked on top by the other handicappers. So I'm in agreement with them on the underside, but on top, give me Bermuda Blitz in race number 4. If you're starting off your pick 6, do you start off with a single? Depends how much you have confidence in the 9 Bermuda Blitz. I think you can make a good case in here for some of the others. If you want to go deeper, you'll have to have an opinion in the other races where you want to narrow down. But for me, I like Bermuda Blitz quite a bit here. And depending on how the rest of the pick 6 sets up, I would not be afraid to single in this spot. Remember about singling in the opening leg of any multi-race wager. It doesn't matter if you bust then or if you bust in the last leg. They all pay the same. So go after your opinions. If that's your strongest opinion in the pick 6 and it happens to be in the first leg, that's where you're going to end up singling for budget purposes. But if you don't have a single throughout the course of the entire pick 6, it's probably not a wager that you're going to be playing on a given day. Just the number of combinations, even at the $1 denomination, the number of combinations you need in a pick 6, you're going to need a single or 2 to keep a ticket within most people's relative budgets. Let's go to race number 5 here, and another of my key plays on the program. Race number 5 is a swing race in the early pick 5 and the late pick 5. So the early pick 5 is going to end in this race. The late pick 5 is going to start here. The Keeneland Turf pick 3 starts here, and I've got another key play on the program. And boy, do we got a number in this one. How about Paseo? 20-1 in the morning line, number 8 Paseo, top choice in here. Scott's got him 3rd. Kim's got him 2nd. Maybe we don't get to 20-1, but this Ian Wilkes trainee's got me excited. Couple bullet workouts, training exceptionally well for this one since the career debut. I love to look at a debut horse and before they run back the next time, how quickly did they get back to the workout tab? How strongly have they worked? This horse was back on the workout tab September 12th, 2 weeks after the debut, and has been working right on cue ever since, and working really fast for Ian Wilkes, a barn that can improve a horse from 1st to 2nd to 3rd to 4th start as they get through their form cycle. By Mendelssohn, a pedigree here and out of Walkabout. This is a really good pedigree. Mendelssohn's do extremely well here on the turf course, and Walkabout's been a blue hen mare for Wilkes and the Whitlam Thoroughbreds. So I think Paseo's really, really interesting in here at a big number. One of my key plays on the card, 20-1 in the morning line. Number 1, Turkish Pistachio, second choice in here. Bred for the turf. Turf by Catholic Boy out of a hard-spun mare. Has run sprints on the main track through 2 starts and was just kind of even in both of those. Even running sprinters tend to stretch out and do well. I think the Turf Mile is going to be absolutely perfect for this horse on pedigree. In 13 days, they wheel back quickly for a Carlos David Barn high-percentage outfit out of Gulfstream. The fact they want to strike twice here at Keeneland for this $110,000 purse this time, I think is a kind of a pretty confident kind of move here. You get Luis Saez with the rail in a Turf Mile, good post position there, and a good aggressive jockey. 8, 1, 9, and 10. The 9 is Amber Glen, first-time starter for Brad Cox. Cox, like we said, tends to pile up these wins with maidens late in the Keeneland meet. Debut going long on the turf here may not be his number one game, but he's still pretty darn solid at it. He's 20% in just about any category across the board. Amber Glen certainly to be respected. The 10 Love and Grace for a Brendan Walsh barn, hitting on all cylinders with these kind, especially young turf horses. The Dam Zofel was really a nice turf mare by Into Mischief out of Zofel. Really nice pedigree with the 10 Love and Grace. 8 over the 1, 9, 10. Now, if you're playing the pick 6, are we singling this horse Paseo in this particular spot? I don't think so, but I would use 8, 1, and 9, and 10. Really, I would use all 4 in a pick 6 situation. But intra-race, I really think you got to go after Paseo in this spot. Obviously, a win bet, but then we're going to work around the 1, 9, and 10, what's called a key box. A key box means you're going to take one horse and then use them with other horses, but that one that you key on has to be in the combination first or second, either way. So an exacta key box 8 with the 1, 9, 10 means you've got 8, 1, 8, 9, 8, 10. And then instead of boxing all the horses, your other combinations are 1, 8, 9, 8, and 10, 8. So you're reducing what would be 24 combinations basically down to 6, reducing the cost of your ticket tremendously and focusing on the horse that you actually like the most. And that's the key part about it. So we're putting the most weight that we have in this race on number 8, Paseo. Exacta key box 8 with a 1, 9, 10, one of my key plays of the day. We're going to try to land a number here. And look, I don't know, with, another handicapper using the horse second, another handicapper using the horse third. Out of 4 of us, 3 use the horse somewhere in the top 3. Probably not going to get 20 to 1, and probably maybe shouldn't be 21, but 12, 10, somewhere in that ballpark, I'd be more than happy with that. Give me Paseo there, 8 with a 1, 9, 10. Race number 5 and back-to-back key plays on the card. Now we go to a rare threesome in terms of back-to-back-to-back key plays on a program. That in race number 6, the late pick 4 is going to start in this particular race. These are maiden claimers going a mile on the 16th on the main track in here. And Wizard of Yester is going to be the horse to me, who I think might be loose on the lead. 12 to 1 in the morning line. The 2 Wizard of Yester also picked on top by Kim and Scott. I think we're all looking at this and saying, why can't this horse just make the front and keep going? A Practical Joke for Joe Sharp. Practical Joke sired the winner of the last race on the card again today on the main track at Keeneland. The Asmussen runner was a Practical Joke, I believe, in the last race today. And the Practical Jokes hit a big number here on the main track at Keeneland. You get Jose Ortiz, top 2-3 rider at the meet. And again, I just don't see much speed in this race at all. I think Wizard of Yester can be gone, go to the front, inside trip. The one doesn't have a lot of speed to the inside, should be able to clear that one and just kind of go around there. So give me the horse here at 12 to 1 in the morning line, knowing full well we're going to get a shorter price than that. I think when 3 of the 4 handicappers are on the same runner, I think it's pretty obvious we're not going to get to 12 to 1. But 5 to 1, 6 to 1, do you feel good about that price? I'd be just fine with a lone speed with Jose Ortiz, Joe Sharp off the claim at 5 to 1. I would take that. So a good number, I think, still can be had in that 5 to 1 area. Number 3, Antietam drops in class off the maiden special to maiden claiming drop. That's very successful here in the maiden claimers at Keeneland historically. Son of Curlin. We've got a couple Curlins running this weekend, getting a chance to stretch their legs here on the Keeneland main track. Curlin's going longer, always worth a look here at Keeneland. Pletcher trains this one. He's had an excellent meet with limited number of starters. Antietam looks like the kind of horse Pletcher wins races with here, but I think he's also going to get overbet. So I think you're going to get an undervalue on the 3 Antietam in here. I've got it 2, 3, and 5. Respect the 3, but try to beat him at a shorter price. The 5 Private Show is a Brad Cox Street Sense Colt. Second-time starter. Didn't show much at the fairgrounds back in November of last year. Haven't seen him since, but Cox, again, dropping from maiden special to maiden claiming. He's in that mid-20s, no matter almost what percentage you throw out there. Private Show worth a look. But give me the 2. If you had to make me take another one in here, I would use the 2 and the 3. But I wouldn't go any deeper than 2 deep in this particular spot in the multi-race wagers. So 2, 3, 5, the way I'll line them up in race number 6. we'll hope to get 5-1 or more on that one in race number 6, the 2 Wizard of Yester. Let's go to the 7th race, final leg of the Keeneland, or second leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. Keeneland Turf Pick 3 on races 5, 7, and 9. 7th race on the card is a non-winners of 2 lifetime turf race for the 2-year-old. So a 2-year-old allowance going long here. This is the race where we had today, where the Sister Troyenne scored so convincingly in that spot there for a Brian Lynch. We'll see how this one shakes out, as I've got Easy Wind on top in this spot. This is a race where I think you can go pretty deep in here and have some good options. I had 1, 10, 9, 7, 6 all as potential players in here to consider when looking at the multi-race bets and how our budget might shake out before scratches. Maybe we'll lose 1 or 2 of these, but the one Easy Win is 9-2 in the morning line. It's Brendan Walsh. It's Tyler Gaffleone. Blinkers on this one. This is a horse who's run 3 times, and all 3 efforts have been respectable enough. The last one was Open Company. It was probably the toughest race that the horse was in, and maybe slid just a little bit in terms of the placings, but 5th beaten 2 lengths in that particular spot. Kind of even, kind of ran spotty in some other areas, and you think a horse like this could use the blinkers, and that's what I'm looking at. He was 4 lengths back, then drifted to 8 lengths back, and then ended up losing by 2 lengths. When a horse runs spotty like that, it might be even in terms of positions, 3rd, 4th, 5th, but that was not an even running performance in there. Easy Win, kind of horse who could benefit from blinkers from the inside with the blinkers on. Could show good improvement in here. The 10 Baytown Dreamer, 8-1 in the morning line. Might go off an even higher price, maybe. This is a horse who ran 3rd in the Juvenile Mile at Kentucky Downs, but does come off a disappointing effort at 50-1 plus in the Pilgrim Stakes in New York. That was a much tougher spot, but it's a Mendelssohn. But these Paul McEntees don't get bet very often. Ben Curtis's horses aren't getting bet. I think in terms of other big names in the field, the big name trainers, the Walshes, the Cox, the Graham Motions, that Baytown Dreamer with Paul McEntee probably gets left go here, and 8-1 would be certainly a nice price. Maybe even get a tick or 2 above that. Bill Mott's got Expressway in here, so there's some other options in here to give a look at. The 3 Long Eyes one I didn't use here in my plays. I'm not wild about the form here, but trainer Graham Motion does have good marks here with these 2-year-old turf allowance horses going long at Keeneland in the fall. We tried him today. That horse didn't run at all for us, but that's not the reason we're not taking Long High back. These picks were made prior to the races today. So I didn't know that the motion horse that I was playing today was going to run poorly. So it's not a reactionary deal. I just think this race is a little tougher, and I'm not into Long High in this particular spot. But 1, 10, 9, 7, 6, I think all horses that you can give some real consideration to in race number 7. Let's shift gears here to race number 8 on the card, and we'll stick right here with the handicapper selectors box. Sam's Treasure pick in here for 3 of the 4 handicappers. This is a horse who's 6-5 in the morning line. We're trying to beat some favorites throughout the card, but there are a couple that we're conceding to, and this happens to be one. The one question here was Sam's Treasure. 3 starts here at Keeneland. 3rd beaten 10, but there was a good effort 2nd beaten a half length here in the spring 2024 meet. So I don't think there's anything off with this horse over this particular track. But again, I thought we'd get a little bit more out of that horse as the favorite here in the spring meet when running 3rd beaten 10 3/4. Sidorsky ran away with it. Sidorsky ran away with it that day, came back and won again. And maybe it was just a situation of just a red hot winner that day. Sam's Treasure, though, 2nd start now off a June layoff. Should be fit to go and ready to go. Sam's Treasure for Paulo Lobo, Irad Ortiz. Top choice in here, not very creative. The 2 Tanya Showers is 3-1 in the morning line. This is a horse, when you look at the running lines, Tanya Showers has faced murderer's row amongst some of these 3-year-old and older fillies. Impel, My Main Squeeze, Helena's Forte, Hall and Ice, Taxed. I mean, there's some really good names of horses along the way who have beaten her. I don't think there's anybody of that quality in this race. Trainer Chris Hartman has been on a continuous cold streak for a good while now, but this horse comes off a March layoff, maybe ready to go off the break. Jose Ortiz is going to ride. You've got to like the company lines the 2 Tanya Showers has shown. 4, 2, 6, and 3, the way I pick them in order. I think the 4 in here, Sam's Treasure, probably the way to go, just going ahead and singling. And in terms of a multi-race wager, I'm not really into this race so much intra-race, but in terms of a multi-race, let's just try to single and get through this leg with the 4, Sam's Treasure. We wrap things up with the 9th race on the card. Of course, Toyota Super High 5 is always the 9th and final on the program here at Keeneland. Carry over 44,000 plus into this race. Full field. These are older maiden specials going a mile on the turf. We also have some also eligibles in here that look very live on paper. So be sure to check the scratches and changes around 10, 11 a.m. tomorrow, because you've got horses here with You're So Vain, Emmy Blue, Evelina, and Lots of Kisses, where I think you can make a case for at least 3 of the also eligibles in here. So keep an eye on the scratches and changes and how that might impact the race in race number 9. Keeneland Turf Pick 3 wraps up here. I'm going with number 2, Ante. Ante's a horse who in the last 2 starts has been hung out way outside post positions, now draws towards the inside. Michael McCarthy turns this Uncle Mo filly over to Ben Curtis, just like he did at Kentucky Downs. Almost got the victory that day at Kentucky Downs. I think this horse is going to be showing inside speed. The one Triumphant Spirit has no early pace. Ante can be right up on the engine in this particular spot, cut all the corners, save all the ground, and eliminate a lot of the variables. 5-1 in the morning line. Again, I don't think you've got to think a whole lot in this spot. There aren't a lot of other early pace types in this race. Maybe the 3, all the feels, but that one's coming out of a mile and 16th at Saratoga, where the 6 furlong split was 111. Ante's been right up on the pace in 109. That kind of speed, and a horse who was formerly a downhill turf sprinter at Santa Anita, I think that kind of speed just gets in front of this field. The 6 Rethink comes out of some sprints for Chad Brown. Maybe that one shows a little bit of pace, but I'm going to take my chances with the inside draw. I'll give me number 2, Ante. Scott's also got that one on top. 2, 9, and 12, the way I'm lining it up in here. Also a little bit for the 8, the Palace Girl, first start in the year for this one. Will Walden's maidens are ready to roll here at Keeneland. That's been the calling card for about a year now. I would suspect that with John Velasquez named, that the Palace Girl's pretty live. So I would give the 8 some consideration in here as well. And again, keep an eye on the scratches and changes. And I'll send my updated picks out on that Substack tomorrow morning after scratches and changes are announced. So if we are going to move any of the horses from the also eligible list into the mix in this particular race, and which ones get in and who may scratch in order for them to get in, we'll give you all the updated picks for the entire card on that Substack tomorrow. So jeremyplonk.substack.com, sign up for that, and we'll get you going around the 11 o'clock hour or so after scratches come out tomorrow for all that. That will wrap up this Wednesday night handicapping for Thursday, day 15 of 17. We've got 2 more days for you on Friday and Saturday, so that means 2 more podcasts coming up for you tomorrow night and Friday night as well. The Fayette Stakes, of course, the big feature on Saturday. We've got a good card on Friday as well. The 3-year-old fillies on the Turf and Stakes Company. You got the 3-year-old sprinters on our main track for the fillies, the Myrtlewood in there as well. So a couple good stakes races. I really like that Friday card. I've handicapped that already, and looking forward to playing that one on Friday for sure. We've got some prices on Thursday. Let's try to get 1 or 2 of them in here. A good handicapping day today with the 4 winners and $35 in return. So see if we can't continue some good momentum here over the final couple days of racing. We've got 3 more days to play at Keeneland. Enjoy them. They'll go fast, and we don't get to do it again until April. So good luck tomorrow on the Thursday program at Keeneland. I'll talk to you tomorrow night as we preview that Friday card.